right, everybody, welcome back to the MiscELENAeous podcast. I'm your host, Elena. This week, we have a very special guest, Mia Dio. Welcome to the podcast. The crowd goes wild. Woo! I'm so excited to have you on because I don't know you, but I creeped on you, and you are my people. So I'm excited to find out a lot about you and, more importantly, learn from you. I'm missing one important thing today, though, my notes. I did not bring anything to take notes. Well, damn it.
We don't need that. Don't worry. We'll just...
You know what? I have an idea. We'll record it, and I'll play it back for myself later. Smart. So smart of me to do on my podcast. Genius. Okay, so tell me about your life. I am so intrigued by you. Like you're just tell me, just go.
I have lived multiple lives.
You have
like various different lives. Yeah, I think every time I change my hair color, it's like a new era. I just kind of like reset my body count.
I love that. So that's science.
No, but I started social media actually when I was 14.
Yeah.
But when I was 14, I wasn't like popping, I was just getting started. I had a YouTube channel. The most I ever got to was like 30,000 subscribers, and I thought I really was the shit. But
to be fair, you were. And I have to clarify because I think I'm a decade older than you.
I'm 20.
Yeah, rock and roll. Like I'm hearing this story and I'm like, yeah, she started social media at 14, and I'm like, okay. Yeah, you're 20. Okay, yeah, I'm 33. You're 22, and you're gonna teach me today.
Yeah, the younger generation.
Yeah, they have so much to teach us.
They do.
I was like the generation that kind of grew up watching Niga Higa. Who else? I grew up watching Smosh. So I just saw all of those creators that were just so creative, so funny, that I was like, I want to try that myself. So at 14, I started my YouTube channel. The most I ever got to was 30,000 subscribers. I just did comedy skits. And then sometimes I would do true crime because that's something that fascinates me even to this day.
Also same.
But in high school, people used to make fun of me really aggressively because I had a YouTube channel and I had this intro that was a little cringe. I'd be like, hey guys, what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your girl Mia Dio here. And every single time I'd walk into school, it would be like, what's crack-a-lacking? And then they would start snickering.
Look at them now and look at you now.
I was like, I think I can do this one day. So that's cool. Laugh all you want, but one day you're going to be crying at your 9 to 5. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to be posted up in a nice-ass house, nice-ass crib, living my retired life.
Yeah, and, at 22.
So, yeah.
just kicked back in a giant palatial mansion at 22, titties out, living the dream.
I will say, Mia, I started personal training because I saw your social media that you got a personal trainer. And I was just like, you know what? I literally was on, I was watching, I was just like, damn, she's going to make me get a personal trainer because she looks fantastic.
Dude.
She did that shit.
I was I gained 35 pounds. I think I started personal training 4 months ago. So 4 months ago, I was 35 pounds heavier than I am right now. And I just was not feeling good about myself at all. And not only that, but the main reason why I started personal training, I trauma dump a lot. So
bring it on. You really are my people.
I just trauma dump. Okay. This is my therapy.
Perfect.
So, unfortunately, I would say 10 months ago, I found out I was pregnant, but then 2 months later, I miscarried. And it would have not have been so traumatic if it wasn't for the fact that, everyone's body responds differently. But my miscarriage was literally 14 days. And no one talks about it. Most people were like, no, it's just going to be a heavy period. And that's it. No one prepared me for the absolute pain that I was going to be feeling in my womb for the next 14 days. I was thrown across the floor of my bathroom, just bleeding like a motherfucker. And not only that, but the cramps, I literally felt like I was just in labor for 2 weeks. No pain meds that were over the counter could satiate my craving to just stop feeling anything. It was the worst experience of my whole life. And in that moment, women like, not to get like all like Andrew Tate here, but like, let's just say women, we have a biological function that is to be pregnant, give birth, right? So in that moment, your psychology gets really like screwed up when you're like, wow, like the one thing that I was really meant to do, I failed at it. But not only that, my body has completely betrayed me in a way that like I can't even explain.
Yeah.
It's the pain. I can't even move. Like, I was completely healthy and I thought that everything was going to be okay. I'm young, like nothing is going to go wrong. But I think it's like 1 in 4 to 1 in 3 women miscarry, and your chances of miscarrying for your first pregnancy are actually very high. And that's not something that I realized until later. So that was like a comforting factoid that I wasn't the only one that was going to go through this. But no one prepared me for the pain. So I had such an irregular cycle, and my periods following that, like, you know, you would think like, okay, I'm done miscarrying. That was hell. It's going to get better. My next 3 periods, which also no one prepared me for, my next 3 periods were hell on earth. Bleeding so much and like just had no energy. Just stayed in bed for, I think, 4 months. Like hardly worked at all because my hormones were screwed up. I had acne all over my face. I had just gained 35 pounds. I didn't recognize myself in the mirror. My hair was falling out in clumps because of the hormonal changes. And so that was really, really intense on me. And I just like stopped making content, because when you don't feel good about yourself, how am I supposed to get on camera and tell women to love themselves when I'm over here just like falling apart?
Yeah.
And then my lifestyle, I started making bad decisions, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to start drinking a lot. So then I started drinking and then gaining even more weight and then just having no energy and just like brain fog all the time. And it just wasn't good for me. And one day, well, I know exactly when it happened. When I finally moved to Puerto Rico, which is where I live now. When I finally moved to Puerto Rico, it's summer here all year long. So it never gets cold ever. It will never get cold. I'm in the Caribbean. I was like, I just like want to feel good at the beach. Like, I'm tired of like feeling bad about myself, and because I don't have like a victim mentality. Like I never had it in my life. Even when things got really hard, I was like, I have the opportunity to change things. If I'm not changing things, that's fully on me. I am in full control of my destiny. But at that time, my hormones had me absolutely insane, that I was just like, everything sucks. Everything is horrible. Nothing that I do is right. And I started first when I moved to Puerto Rico, sitting in front of the mirror and complimenting a few things that I liked about myself. I was like, okay, you know, it was really hard in the beginning because I was just like, I really hated myself. And I was like, you know, I don't really like your body right now, but you got nice tits.
Hey, you compliment what you like.
Exactly. I was like, you got nice tits, girl. Let's see. I like your eyes. All right, we'll stop right there. You know, the nose job is nose jobbing. It's great. You know, there's other things to worry about. And then slowly giving myself those compliments in the mirror, I was able to coax myself into finally facing my biggest insecurity, which at that point was my body. And I had just been putting it off, ignoring it. I decided to like buy new clothes instead of addressing it. I was just like, no, I'm just gonna get bigger clothes so I don't have to look at my figure, like stuff like that. Just baggy t-shirts, sweatpants. I don't want to look at myself. And that's never really who I was. I'm like a girl that likes to wear skimpy things. Like, it's just something that I like to do.
Yeah, facts.
And finally I was just like, bro, there's a gym 2 minutes from my house. Like, let me just walk in. I walked in, I went with my best friend Blair. She like automatically could tell that like I really just didn't want to be there because I just didn't want people looking at my body. But I just started, and my trainer, I explained to her why I was there. I was like, listen, I had a miscarriage a couple months ago. My hormones are out of whack. My periods are completely unbearable. I'm just having like a really tough time like maneuvering my own body. And I feel like I'm completely out of control over the one thing that I should be able to control, which is my body. And she just was like, okay, first thing you got to do is just be nice to yourself, because you've already walked in, you've already paid for personal training. We're going to get started. You're not going to see the results immediately, but I am going to beg you to just like prepay a whole bunch of classes so you commit to showing up for at least 2 months. So I was like, okay, screw it. Gave her a whole bunch of money. the gym a whole bunch of money because personal training is expensive. Holy shit. I think
Yeah.
It is
for $2,000 a month or something in my gym. And I just started. And little by little, I noticed my body changing, not just like the way that it physically looked, but I think around the 3-month mark, I went from having horrible periods to just them being kind of a breeze, you know, some light cramping, but I was stronger. Like I feel like I healed my womb by like working out and doing all of that stuff. And then now I'm just so like obsessed with it. Like I love working out. I never was that girl. You couldn't get me in the gym. I like always was like, oh my God, gym people, like, is that all that they have going on? Like, why are they so obsessed with the gym? Like, I don't get it. I totally get it now. And the way that it's helped my mental health, the way that it's healed my body in like a way that I didn't figure out.
There is so much science that is proving like how much our body stores trauma in us, and there's so many different ways that we can like cleanse that energy and release that energy. Like there's so many different practices to do that, and everybody gets comfortable with their thing. Like some people do like Reiki, and some people do like Kundalini yoga or whatever, like cutting ties of energy, and some people literally just like dance or like shake. And like I actually came across this thing on the internet the other day that was talking about how like if you ever notice animals out in the wild, anytime they like go through a little mini traumatic event, if they just had to like run as prey away from a predator, like you'll see them, if they're caught on camera, they'll do like a full body shake, and it's literally them shaking that energy that they just exchanged and just like hoarded up. Like I'm trying to protect myself, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and it's like a release of energy. And working out is clearing out all of that stored up bad energy. It's just a way to like release that energy, and it is so good for our mental health. Like it releases like the anxiety and like, you know, serotonin, dopamine, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
it's like it can do so many positive things for you. And it's like, honestly, I have such a fight with the word motivation. Like people are like, oh, I need motivation for this. I say it all the time. I'm like, oh, I need motivation for this, I need motivation for that. And like I'll just lay around needing motivation for like 5 years. But really, when you do one action and you get a positive reaction to that, that's your motivation. Like you go to the gym and you do that thing and you're proud of yourself and it feels good and you get that dopamine release and that serotonin or whatever science words are meant to be used in that sentence, then you feel more capable and prepared to like take on the rest of your day and go be like the creative, powerful, like inspiring woman that you're meant to be for the world. Like it's, God, man, am I going to get a personal trainer? Shit, fuck.
I mean, honestly, everyone get a personal trainer. For me,
how's it going for you?
It's, you know, it's wonderful. It really is. It's one of the same thing for me. It was like a mental thing. Last year was just really, and kind of, it was more like
shout out.
Yeah. I could just notice that like I had looked at some like relationship trauma that I had and like seeing how that was affecting me going into like my current one, and also just how I viewed myself. And I was like, I used to be a ballerina. I did that for 15 years. So like my body was trained for a long time to just be athletic, and I didn't realize like all the stuff I was doing. I was just like, man, back when I was young, I was doing like 18,000 things, but I was having some sort of release, which was dance, which was exercise. And I hadn't been doing that for a long time. And with like, there were a lot of mine stemmed from like, I have like body dysmorphia and things like that. And even at like my thinnest, I was like, oh, I'm huge.
Oh, for sure.
And so when I gained like during COVID, because I wasn't one of those girlies that was like, I'm going to go get my dream body during this lockdown. I was like, I'm going to sit and watch Netflix for 15 hours a day. So for me, like seeing that, and then also like going back to school during COVID, like when that ended, it was kind of like I wasn't making a change to like benefit me. I wasn't like prioritizing myself. And it kind of just put me in a spiral.
Yeah.
And so like I had noticed there was just random things happening. Like I felt like my sugar was dropping like really fast. I was like, do I have diabetes? I went to a bunch of doctors because I was like, I don't feel good. Like something is off, something's wrong. So we did a bunch of blood tests, different things like that, and everything came back fine. But like my mental, I was just like, I don't understand. I'm feeling things physically. There has to be something wrong.
The connection is so real.
Mm-hmm.
And I did the same thing where I was, I didn't go through what you went through, but I went through an incredibly low period and then convinced myself that honestly twerking on yachts in Europe was like a good enough version of exercise, and like doing drugs and alcohol was like, I'm like, yeah, disassociation station. Like I'm traveling, I'm seeing the world, I'm doing it in sunlight. So I'm grounding. So it's like, it's good for I'm microdosing in sunlight. Like I was really, it was all about the semantics for me. I was figuring out any way that like what I was choosing to do was like for the health and wellness and the greater good of my physical being. And it wasn't, because there is the connection between like your mind and body and like spirit is so, it's just undeniable. But that's why I think it's so incredible that there are people like us, but like you on the internet. Because when I was creeping on you, obviously before this podcast, like I came across your Instagram reel sharing about your miscarriage, and it's like you're this young girl. You're so beautiful. You're so full of life. You're so funny, and but at the same time, like you're willing to also share like real shit that happens, and like that dialogue needs to happen just as much as every other dialogue that needs to happen. Like the duality of life is so real. Like it's both is happening at the same time. Like you're still a human being that is all that you are and meant to be like inspiring women and being a bright light and like a reason to make a girl laugh and maybe get a personal trainer, but at the same time sharing like a really deep and traumatic but inspiring, important, impactful story. Like life is both, you are both. Wi-Fi is both. And it's cool to find the girls that are doing both, because a lot of times you can get really disheartened online to see a girl who is beautiful and young and, looks perfect and looks like life is perfect. And all that does is just beat the rest of us down. Like, why is my life not perfect? Why is my life not perfect? But like in reality, like you are sharing the other side of it. My life's not perfect either. I went through some shit too. I am human too. But I'm also going to giggle with you. And I also am going to show you like the good, fun things, because life can be both.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I mean, like social media has changed. I feel like in the beginning, a lot of people were not trying to not be relatable, and I personally, I can do both. So I have a persona that's the sugar baby that's not relatable. That's like telling you that she's in Dubai and she's doing Dubai shit and all of that stuff. But then at the same time, like I thought that just talking about certain things like that was super important, because in that moment when I was literally laying on the bathroom floor, like I would pass out sometimes and like come back because of how badly it hurt. In that moment, I was like, bro, and I'm still just like posting like Q&As and like no one knows that I'm laying on the bathroom floor right now going through the worst physical pain that I've ever experienced in my life. And it was so long too, that I was like, dude, just like, I need to kind of start talking about this, because I also want to know what other people went through. And it's just that very human response of like wanting to belong or like have like a community, even if it's just like misery loves company. Talking about it really did help me. And not only that, but like my followers that later on went on to have a miscarriage, they told me like they had seen the video while they were pregnant, then they unfortunately suffered a miscarriage, and like in that moment, like they were able to open up the comment section and like see what all of these women were saying, like what worked for them, that their feelings were valid, that it wasn't their fault, certain statistics, certain things that you can do for recovery. So just that I feel like was very important. I have a spam account too on Instagram where like, so I go through like issues with my body. Like my period is out of control. Like, what do I do? And like, I'll open up the comment section as like a forum, kind of like Reddit style, where girls can go ahead and like share their experiences, what's worked for them, answer other people's like questions, comments, or concerns. At the end of the day, like I'm very blessed to have mostly a female audience. Like female on all platforms, which is pretty huge. I think on TikTok it's like 90%.
Wow.
Which is really crazy.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like, I just feel like social media is kind of lonely. And we do open it up to kind of like dissociate from like our real life and just like be able to like disconnect. It's entertainment at the end of the day. But there are more important things to use your platform for. And in that moment when I like needed a community the most, it was very heartwarming that I was able to like share my story and have an audience be so receptive and empathetic. And not only that, just like offer some type of comfort by giving me advice and like knowing that I wasn't alone in this scenario. That's very common. So that was great. And I'm forever grateful to my peeps for giving me like a megaphone for shit that matters to me. And I care a lot about it. So
as much as you were sharing for like their greater good, it always comes back to you, because now you get to read messages and comments too, and you're instantly not alone either. It's like it literally is a community. Like I love my followers for that so much, because every time I finally kind of break down and share something vulnerable that felt like it was going to be hard, it's like the reward is massive, because I'm getting messages and comments from people that are like, oh my God, I needed that for all of these reasons. And then also messages that are just filling me back up, because I'm no longer alone in all of these feelings either. And I'm like, that's literally what we've created. And it is so nice that I'm a few years out of the hate, a little bit more irrelevant, mostly have the girlies that stuck around, that still love me, that are here. Like I've cultivated these misfits of my people who really are here to love me, and I love them back. And it's like they're here to celebrate when things are great, but like they are here when things are not so great. And like that's so cool. We love to see it.
Can't imagine like not being able to like rely on like my audience when like shit gets tough, and like be open about mental health struggles or like things that I'm doing, or like even my workout routine, like my workout, the fact that I've been working out, like they've been keeping me consistent. Like
they're keeping you accountable.
Yeah, they were like, oh, you're on vacation, like are you gonna stop working out? And I was like, you're right, you're like, I can't.
We better see your ass in the gym after all those margaritas.
Yeah.
I feel like since we love our followers so much, we need to give them a gift. And I feel like this gift it's a gift for me too. My mom really, maybe it's a gift for Eugenia. My mom really wants me to find a boyfriend this year, okay? It's maybe all she wants. And after I looked at your page, I'm like, well, shit. Let's get a rich one. Why not? I'm a manifesting queen lately. Everything I want is coming to me. So why not just I don't want just a regular boyfriend. I want a rich one. So what would you say are like best practices? Like what do I need to do, and what do the misfits listening, what would you say they would need to do, like a best practices, or like number one thing you could do, top 3 tips, what can I change today that will really get me in alignment with finding this rich man? Because while my mom wants me to get a boyfriend in 2024, I have 2 things I want to do in 2024, and it's less, but make more. And so that also is working out for kind of, it just seems like we're right here, right on track. You know?
I love the idea of being fun employed. That's kind of like what my life is. I think I work like 3 hours a week, and like I'm like, wow, that was really hard.
I need to relax. I need to spend someone else's money about it.
It's just like so much more fun when it's not yours. Like it's like not. It's just like, Chuck E. Cheese tokens.
So are there like top prime places I should be arriving at a certain time? Is there a color I need to wear? Is there a dating app I don't know about? Like, can you introduce me to some friends of friends of friends?
So, there's a couple things that people got to do before they can set out on their go find rich husband journey.
Okay.
Right? First thing is you really have to take a really good look at yourself. How is it that you're currently portraying yourself? How is it that you come across? And there's certain things like that ultimately men will find a woman intimidating if she looks like she's got a lot going on. The broke ones will find them intimidating. The rich ones won't.
Right.
So
okay.
at the end, the first thing that you got to do is understand your worth. Your worth as a woman, because it's really easy to like try to go find a rich husband, but the second a guy starts treating you like shit and maybe you like it, you start regressing back into thinking that you deserve that. Relationships are almost a direct reflection over how you perceive yourself. Your ability to leave is also very important, because when you're dealing with like rich guys and stuff like that, their money isn't everything. People like to bring this point up a lot to me, and they say, well, I'd rather be with a poor guy that treats me well than a rich guy that doesn't. And I was like, who told you that you had to compromise that?
Yeah, why can't I have both?
Exactly. Money is not an excuse for someone to treat you like shit. Yes, I have a character that like makes fun of the fact that like maybe my sugar daddy cheats on me and like I don't care, whatever. At the end of the day, that is not the behavior that a woman who actually values herself will put up with. And it is okay to have that standard for yourself as long as you recognize that you're not going to die alone. Just exceeding more from your partner, it's not going to make you die alone. It's going to make you find someone better.
Yeah, facts.
Failure is going to lead us to our biggest successes. So if you're taking a look at your current boyfriend and the transaction is broken in the way that maybe we can see it two ways. Emotionally, the transaction is broken. Maybe he's not there for you. He's not receptive. You've tried to label out what you need in order for this relationship to work. And if it's not working, you have to recognize that it's time to leave. It's dead. It's gone. That's it. Cut it out. Break up.
See,
leave.
I'm pretty good at that. Some would argue that I'm too good at that part, that I maybe cut and leave too quick. But I feel like I'm just getting confirmation right now, if anything, that I'm doing it right. Like you don't treat me right. And you know better. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
That's great, because you know exactly what you're worth.
I literally sent a text message yesterday and then blocked number. These are the reasons I'm out, and sent, watched it deliver, and then block, because I don't care to hear your excuse, but this is the reason that I'm not going, that you're not going to hear from me again.
Period. I mean, and that's really all that there is to it as far as that front. But another transaction.
That's on knowing my value. So I have number one down.
Yeah, you got that.
Okay.
You got that.
One
also
step.
recognize like specific things as far as like, okay, so there's, in my opinion, there's no happier woman than a woman that's being taken care of. But at the end of the day, it's about masculine and feminine energies, and it is not exclusive to a gender. So I've seen relationships work when the man is more feminine and the woman is more masculine. But in this current scenario, I'm the more feminine one. So I will form a more masculine pair as a complement. And in other relationships, like, it doesn't matter if like they were paying the mortgage on the house and like they were paying for the food and like whatever. If I was cooking and I was cleaning and I was doing all of that stuff, that should have made me happy. But in all actuality, there also has to be that emotional connection there in order to have a fruitful relationship where no one is going to cheat on each other, where no one is going to say hurtful things to each other, and stuff like that. So the second that people are able to respect themselves enough to recognize when it is a good time to leave, you're already miles ahead of everyone else. Because rich guys, not all of them are easy to deal with, because they're used to getting everything that they want, and maybe they're not compromising. But at the end of the day, if you can't compromise with your partner, what is it? So as far as that, so you figure that out, you know what you're worth, you're okay to leave, you understand that money, maybe it's important to you, but it cannot be literally everything in the relationship, because you are just going to set yourself up for misery. You see all of those like rich country club moms that are just like pill popping and they're miserable. It's probably because they just like dealt with a lot of bullshit because the money was good. We don't want you guys to be miserable. We want you guys to be happy.
We want to be rich and happy and loved.
Yes.
And valued and cherished. Like, be obsessed with me or get out of here. Literally leave.
Yeah. Be obsessed with yourself. And then that energy that you put out, you will get.
Yeah.
Now, as far as meeting the rich guys, there's certain things that you need to take a look at before you try to put yourself out there. Who are your friends? Because your circle is very important. Who are your friends? And how are people seeing you? It depends on what type of money you're looking for. If you want old money, you do have to maintain some level of class, some level of decency. You got the OnlyFans? Shut that up. Shut that down, girl. You ain't getting old money with an OnlyFans.
Damn.
You'll get new money, but you won't get old money. And I'm going to be honest, like that, because at the end of the day, you want old money. You can't sell your body for $9.99 a month and then expect a rich guy that has old money and like these certain societal standards of what his like partner is supposed to be, because at the end of the day, you are a representation of him. A guy that's got a lot of shit going on, dealings with very serious people. You need to kind of come across as someone that's respectable. Now, I portray a sugar baby online, so people are probably going to be like, she's being a hypocrite because she like does all this crazy shit online. I think it was very important for me to make that distinction and let everyone know that this character that I play is solely a character, and how I am in real life is completely different. I'm doing this as satire for comedy purposes. That is it. The second that I was able to make Mia different than the sugar baby, things started working out a lot better for me. But not only that, the way that I dressed, I used to do my nails like really big, like acrylic nail. I'm an old money kind of girl, so most of my tips are like old money. It's not going to be new money, because new money is just too flashy, too it's not for me. Well, I like old money. I like that generational wealth.
Yeah, I'm here for that too.
It's deep and it's rooted.
Yeah.
It's going anywhere.
Yeah, true that.
Yeah.
I used to wear like really big like acrylic nails, and just like my makeup was like kind of like British. Like I don't know how else to like explain it. It was like
she got that contour.
It's M to the B,
M to the B. Yeah.
The second it went back to something that was like a little bit more natural. Like I still wear makeup, and I wear makeup to my liking, but I wore makeup to complement my features more instead of hide things. And then my nails, I always kept them kind of like natural and like nice. And then the way that I dressed, like when I would just go out, because like you're going to meet these people like out in nice places. When I went out, I dressed elegantly. I would dress nice. I still showed what I wanted to show, but it was all very tasteful. It wasn't that like, I love Fashion Nova, you know, but it wasn't like that Fashion Nova just like wearing one strip and like wearing like the pleaser platforms, which is how I used to dress.
An elevated look.
Yeah, I just started looking more expensive.
Yeah.
I started investing a little bit more in my appearance and like keeping things what is traditionally classy. And people will be like, well, this sucks. Well, you don't put other people down. I'm not telling you to not do that. At the end of the day, if you want to be with old money, they are the ones that adhere to societal pressure of looks and a certain like the way that they're perceived more than anyone else.
So true.
So if that's what you want, you got to tone it down. You got to keep it classy. The second you cover that base up, the second you do that, the second that you're cool with that, you have to take a look at your circle. Who do your friends hang out with? You need friends that are doing something, because it's for a highly motivated man. I know women are just like, oh, I'll be a stay-at-home wife as soon as I find my rich husband and whatever. And be like, yeah, you can do that as soon as you find him. But what are you doing in the meantime? The girls that marry the doctors, it's because maybe they were in med school themselves, and eventually when they married the doctors, they're like, screw this, I got my rich husband, like now I'm going to be taken care of, it's all cool. You have to be doing something for yourself that's respectable, you know, grinding.
They respect the ambition themselves as well.
Exactly. If you're going to compliment, not supplement, if you're going to compliment truly a man with drive, ambition, success, you have to mirror that in your own way. You have to be humble yourself, because it's hot to see a woman with that type of motivation. So figure it out. Go get your job. Go work hard. Go believe in yourself. I don't know, become a real estate agent, but kill it. You know what I mean? Like just figure something out, because there's something for everyone. And it doesn't need to be anything crazy.
Find your passions, people. Exactly. Find your passions and chase them. Or go to med school and pretend long enough.
Go to law school or something, start studying for the LSAT. Because at the end of the day, you're going to sit across the table from his parents. And his parents probably were the ones that handed him the company. He probably works with his parents at the end of the day. So you want to be able to sit across from his parents and be like, this is everything that I've done for myself. I'm cool with or without. But I guess he likes that in me. And they're going to like that in you as well. Yeah. They're going to like the type of ambition, that drive, that class, the way that you're being, like the way that you're perceived. That's very important in old money. It sounds fucked up, but it's true.
A lot of things that are true do sound fucked up. Yeah. But we're here to face the facts on the MiscELENAeous podcast. So I want the truth.
And as far as meeting them, they're everywhere, but they're not flashy. They're not very obvious. It's just kind of like a nose. You kind of have to get like the nose for it. You have to be able to sniff them out. I know low-key men's brands. As soon as you're like kind of well versed in that, and you can kind of pick up like on certain things, like because they all kind of dress simple. At least like old money likes to dress simple and not flex too much. But there's certain things that they will never skim out on, and that's their watch and where they go to vacation.
Mm-hmm.
And that's typically where they'll take pictures on vacation, because if not, like they're too busy to be taking selfies of themselves in their car and like doing bullshit like that. Like
because they're working, because they're making money, because they're busy.
Exactly. So as soon as you can pick up on things like that, they're really easy to spot on dating apps. Now, what I love about like these successful guys, like they plan the dates, like they'll pick you up, they'll do all that stuff. Make sure that you're well versed in things that they like. As soon as you can like be able to hold a conversation with them, you already can stand out, because they're looking for that, you know, also stimulates them mentally. Busy guys don't like to like go ahead and like be like, yeah, so what do you like to do? Botox. Even though I love to do Botox, I have to be like, oh, you know, I really love politics.
Can't wait to talk about politics.
All day long. That's politics to me. Or like certain things like that you think that they would gravitate more towards, and have opinions that are well thought and have a good conversation. Now, I personally met my boyfriend by friends of friends, because my friends were already, my circle was good. You know, my circle is good. They're doing stuff, they're successful, they're meeting people. And I made sure that the people that I surround myself with, I'll never be embarrassed to be like, that's my friend, because they're out there, she's doing shit for herself. She's like meeting awesome people. She knows important people. It's stuff like that. And in specific, so a friend that I actually hadn't even spoken to in like a very long time, because I know that she had moved to Colombia. She hits me up and she goes, hey, like, do you want to come to a party in Colombia? And I was like, yeah, I'm there. And I was single for like 3 months at this time. I had just gotten out of like a 2-year relationship, and I was like, I'm going to be single forever. Like, I don't want to get into another relationship. I'm a relationship girl at the end of the day. I never really have a hoe phase. It's just like, no, like I can't do it. Like I invest too much emotionally, and I just like won't get it back. So I'm like, okay,
Same.
I'm going to save myself. There's no shame in that game. So she invited me to a party in Colombia, and I knew that her boyfriend was going to invite his friends, and he was doing well for himself, and like he also is successful, like good family, like stuff like that. So I was preparing myself to meet interesting people. There's going to be people that are shitty, and there's going to be people that are great. Thankfully, my boyfriend is great. When I met him, it was awesome, just like instant click. And he is one of the most humble people that I've ever met in my entire life. But in the beginning, you always want to portray yourself as the best possible version of you. And that's what I did. And so it's your circle. It's being able to sniff them out. It's the way that you present yourself. And all of those things together, along with a heightened self-worth and knowing how to leave and things like that, there's no reason why you shouldn't be rewarded with a partner that's good to you. If you're good to yourself, good to others. But more importantly, you're good to yourself. So it's the energy that you put out, you get back. And that's all that there really is to it.
That's some damn good stuff.
Yeah, it is.
Invest in yourself, babe.
Woo! Mia Dio taking us to church.
Yeah, she really. This has felt like a very spiritual.
This was spiritual. Woo, man.
Nice.
Gosh, that was good. Come back anytime. Damn.
The Church of Sugar Baby Knowledge.
Church of Sugar Baby Knowledge.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Amen. Our man.
A woman. I said that on the last episode. I said that on the last episode. I deadass said that on the last episode.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
My mind is blown. Okay, tell everyone on the MiscELENaeous podcast where they can follow you so that they can continue to be educated and inspired.
You guys can follow me, find me anywhere on just my name, Mia Dio. On Instagram, it's MIIADIO. TikTok, Mia Dio. YouTube, Mia Dio. If you get lost, just Google me.
GPS will point you straight back to Mia Dio.
Right.
Thank you so much for being on the podcast, on the MiscELENaeous podcast this week. You are full of so much insight and depth and beauty and hilarity, and I can't wait to see more of you.
Oh my God, I can't wait to see more of you. Hello, thank you for having me. This was really fun.
Yeah.
This was great. I hope everyone finds the rich husband of their dreams.
Rich husbands loading 2024.
Yes.
It's just manifest it. It'll come. Work on yourself. Do all of those things that you need to do, but also understand that, he doesn't need to be the richest, but can he afford you emotionally? Can he afford you intellectually? Can he afford you in the things that you like to do?
For what's most important to you.
Yeah, you don't need to compromise in those aspects. Always find someone that values you. You are expensive in your own way. And there's never a woman too expensive. There's only men that are too broke.
Woo!
Let's freaking go.
Thank you.
Bows down.
Yes,
bows down. Bows down.
Kind of like word vomiting everything that I've been saying for a couple of years.
Fucking love it. Thank you so much, Mia. You're amazing.
Thank you so much for having me, guys.
Thank you so much, Mia, for being on the podcast. I feel like I've learned so much. If you guys are not following her already, go follow. If you're not following me already, that's a crime. I'm Elena Davies on Instagram, MiscELENaeous Podcast on Instagram. I'm everywhere you can find podcasts. I'm on YouTube. So make sure you're subscribed. Tell your friends, tell your grandma, and stay the fuck tuned. I'll see you next Tuesday.
Yay Networks.